Alright NXT, this is your last chance. This is your go-home show before your 2-hour special event live from Brooklyn. This is your last chance to make me excited and invested into watching your 2-hour special event. And I have to say, for the most part, they actually done a pretty good job doing it. Hello all NXT fans and welcome to another review with me, Mike McRock, one half of the MRB Wrestling Review Show. Right now I am going to deliver to you this week's review for WWE NXT, and this is the go-home show before the 2-hour special event live in Brooklyn, New York this Saturday. So NXT really needed to step up this week into making me excited to see this 2-hour special. And did they do that? Absolutely they did. It may not be the greatest episode of NXT or a great go-home show, but it done its job in what it needed to accomplish. And I really liked the first segment and how this show kicked off this week. It kicked off with a contract signing. Yeah, not the most effective way to kick off, but this was more like a promo for Sasha Banks and the challenger for the NXT Women's Championship, Bayley, coming up in their semi-main event this Saturday. And what I really like is that you really believe that these two have animosity towards each other in this promo, and you really feel the passion behind Bayley in her promo in this segment. And after the segment, she attacked Sasha Banks as she was walking up the ramp, and this was Sasha Banks really knowing how to work the crowd and making the crowd boo her, and it was Sasha Banks also making sure that she does her job effectively as a heel. And I feel like she's the most convincing NXT woman villain on the NXT roster right now. And in the same time, I feel like maybe this is going to be her write-off match, because I feel like that Bayley will probably end up winning. So my prediction for this match, as I do my predictions throughout this video, I feel that Bayley should win the NXT Women's Championship for that reason. I think she's overdue on something, and something needs to give. I mean, she could only go but up at this point. I mean, she beat Emma, she beat Charlotte, she beat Becky Lynch, and I think at the 2-hour special event, I think she's going to beat Sasha Banks. The next promo, or the next match, the first match on NXT, was Tyler Breeze going one-on-one with a jobber. But I don't want to talk necessarily about the match, because this was an enhancement match for Tyler Breeze to gain momentum for his match with Jushin Thunder Liger. But I really like the little things that Tyler Breeze did in this segment. You know, I like that he came out with a selfie stick and he had the Jushin mask on the end of it, you know, the end that he holds the selfie stick, and that after the match he puts the mask on his opponent and makes him look like he's Jushin Thunder Liger and says, here's a preview of what's going to happen, and he nails the beauty shot. And then when he walks up the ramp, you see him step on the mask. I like Tyler Breeze. You know, it was quite simple, not great, but I like the little things that Tyler Breeze was doing in this segment, and how I'm really looking forward to see the big return of Jushin Thunder Liger this Saturday. And we also had the Hype Bros teaming up with Team Soft, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, taking on 4 jobbers here. And even though this was an okay match, it just came across as a random failure that you would see on Monday Night Raw. A match that has no purpose and no consequence, only probably to have the match that they're having next Wednesday. But I feel like NXT should just concentrate on one show at a time and not focus on next week's episode of NXT. Just concentrate on the Saturday event, the 2-hour special. And I feel like that this match wasn't really necessary to happen. It just felt a little out of place, and I think that this didn't belong on the show. That's my only issue with this match, but every single other thing that happened on this show had some meaning and had some purpose. I mean, we had the vignette of Apollo Crews, and we also got, this Bull Dempsey thing, which I was fine with as well. And then we get Samoa Joe versus Steve Cutler. Now, even though, this was Samoa Joe pulling a Baron Corbin, so to speak, and ending the match in mere seconds, I really want to focus on what they've done here with Baron Corbin and Samoa Joe in this segment. And last week I ranted on why I thought that they went too far and done too much with the whole segment between Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin last week. Having Baron Corbin pass out to the submission hold by Samoa Joe, I still stand by that. And I feel like that what they've done this week, they've done the exact same thing, only with the roles reversed. What you got was Baron Corbin, after the match, attack Samoa Joe. They go around in the stands a bit, not too much. Then they make their way to the ring, and Baron Corbin nails the end of days on Samoa Joe. And here I was thinking, why would you want to do that here when you want to save something like that at the 2-hour special event? Maybe they're planning on Samoa Joe nailing the Muscle Buster on Baron Corbin at the 2-hour special. I don't know, but I feel like, again, NXT just went way too far in this segment. I mean, now we know that Baron Corbin can nail the end of days on Samoa Joe, so of course, why would we want to tune into the 2-hour special to see that again? I just don't get it with NXT. I really, really don't. But all that aside, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Blake and Murphy segment as well. They win an enhancement momentum match against Sawyer Fulton and Angelo Dawkins, which I was fine with. But I like what they did here with the Vaudevillains. You had the Vaudevillains come out, they get a bit of mic time, and they're going to announce that, what they're going to do when they're going to contain Alexa Bliss in their tag team match at the TakeOver special. And as soon as they were about to reveal it, you have Alexa Bliss come over and just slap both of them again. I mean, this is the same thing we see from Alexa Bliss, slapping the Vaudevillains. Well, slap them again and slap them some more. It's really repetitive over and over and over. Alexa Bliss is slapping the Vaudevillains. Hey, what else is new? But I like that the segment kind of ended abruptly and we never really got that announcement. Just for the sake of the element of surprise, you don't know what's going to happen. And the audience was chanting for blue pants, which I'm assuming that I don't think we're going to get blue pants as a surprise for the Vaudevillains. It's going to be the same person, but it's going to be black pants. That's who I'm predicting. So for the Vaudevillains tag team match against Blake and Murphy, I have a sneaky feeling that NXT is going to have the Vaudevillains be the next tag team champions, but I don't think that they necessarily need to win the match, even though I think that NXT is going to have them win the match. I feel like what makes Blake and Murphy stand out is the fact that they have the tag team titles along with Alexa Bliss. And the Vaudevillains really don't need the titles. They have that cool gimmick of the 1920s Charlie Chaplin thing going for them. They're fun and entertaining, and they appeal to the hardcore fans at the Full Sail University. So, with that being said, I gotta go with Blake and Murphy retaining the NXT Tag Team titles. I really do. But again, I'm fine with the Vaudevillains beating Blake and Murphy for the titles. And we get to the main event on NXT. A promo segment that I think really stood out in my opinion. And we got Kevin Owens coming out with a ladder to the ring. And I like the direction he goes with this promo he cuts, which was absolutely incredible. First he talks about the fans, addressing the fans, like who they are, what they represent, and who they boo and who they cheer and all this other stuff, and saying that they are the Cena of wrestling fans or something along those lines, just shooting the heck out of the NXT Full Sail crowd, talking about how they boo Brooklyn because, the special event is not in the Full Sail, they're in Brooklyn so they don't get to see it, and all that other stuff, etc., etc. So it's kind of like Kevin Owens in a way, applying some sort of pipe bomb, but it was more like a shoot on the NXT fans. I really liked that aspect of his promo. Just the way he carried himself and the way he talked was absolutely great on the microphone. I think Kevin Owens is one of the best heels that I think the WWE has ever had in recent history. And you got Finn Balor, well, his music coming out and it goes black, but he doesn't appear at the entrance like you would expect. He appears in the corner with a really cool facial expression where he just stares down Kevin Owens. And this is the closest that I've seen Finn Balor be a little bit of a character in the ring, sort of, but only inside the corner. And I really dig that. I like that facial expression where he just stares down the guy, like without moving his eyes. It was just absolutely great to see that visual. And of course, Finn Balor attacks Kevin Owens. They do their thing. And Finn Balor gets one-upped on Kevin Owens. And I kind of like what they did here. It was simple and effective. It really was. So I'm really looking forward to the main event on NXT 2-hour special event between Kevin Owens and Finn Balor. So overall, I really liked this show. It wasn't great, but it done its job. It was a good go-home show for the NXT 2-hour special event. I really like how the show was structured, opening up with the women's title match at TakeOver, the semi-main event, if you will, and making it feel important, and the ending with the NXT main championship also making it feel the most important going into the special event. And even though the show had mostly enhancement matches, which I was fine with, because you really don't need to have big, huge matches on this show, because the blow-off matches will happen at the 2-hour special. But, you really watch this show for the first segment and the last segment, and I feel like that this week's episode solidified the 2-hour special event, and I have a feeling that Bayley and Sasha Banks are going to tear the house down, and I hope that the Finn Balor and Kevin Owens match is better than that Adrian Neville versus Bo Dallas ladder match we got at the first 2-hour special event, because that was a disappointing match. I hope we get a better ladder match at this 2-hour special event. So that's my take and my thoughts on this week's episode of NXT, and also some of my predictions as well. I know I never got my prediction for Jushin Thunder Liger versus Tyler Breeze. I will mention that just very briefly. I think this is going to be a match where Tyler Breeze will probably go over, but also make Jushin Thunder Liger look incredibly strong in this match. As far as Apollo Crews goes, I feel like this is going to be the match where he shows his skills in an enhancement match that hopefully wins over the fans of Brooklyn, because they are hard fans to impress. They really are. And when it comes to what else matches are on there, I'm not really sure. The tag team match I already done, the women's championship match in the main event, the NXT Championship. I think that Finn Balor is going to retain, and this is going to be Kevin Owens right off. But like I said last week, I'll be fine if they do plan on a match between William Regal and Kevin Owens as Kevin Owens' right off. So that's my take on this week's review. What did you think about NXT this week? Feel free to leave those comments right here in the comment section below. And also, what are your predictions for the NXT 2-hour special event? Whatever they are, also leave those comments right here in the comment section below. And be sure to also hit that subscribe button as well to become an MRBer on this wrestling review show.